this story's not in the show notes. And I want to be very careful covering this because there's many aspects to look at this. An innocent man, again, he was denied a chance to life. His name is Marcellus Williams, and he died by lethal injection Monday evening. Now, who is this gentleman? Why is this important? Because there has been questions in regards to how his trial was handled. And I also want to point out that the victim who did pass away, that Marcellus Williams was accused of taking the life of, the widower has said that he didn't want the death penalty. So here's what's going on. I want to share this story with all you lovely, beautiful people, because life is important and life is precious. So let's talk about advocates for a man set to be executed by the state of Missouri on Tuesday lodged a desperate pleas for Republican Governor Mike Parson to change course and grant an 11th-hour reprieve in a case with such serious red flags that even the office that prosecuted the defendant wants his conviction overturned. Overturned. Don't worry, your blood will start boiling very soon. On Tuesday, the U.S. Supreme Court denied a stay for Williams, one day after both Parson and the Missouri Supreme Court said that they would not halt Williams' killing by lethal injection, a method associated with botched executions, barring a last-minute change of heart by the governor. We wish we had better news, but as now, Marcellus Williams is still scheduled to be executed by Missouri tonight at 6 p.m. Central for a crime he is totally innocent of, the Innocent Project, which works to exonerate wrongly convicted people, said in a social media post. This one's going to be difficult to go through. Williams, who is black, was convicted in 2001 for murdering Felicia Gale, a white woman, during a 1998 robbery. DNA found on the knife used to kill Gale matched another man. However, Williams was convicted by a nearly all-white juror after St. Louis County prosecutors were permitted to preventively strike half a dozen black prospective jurors from service. Why is that? And don't worry, folks. I know we're going to get to our fantastic friends in the Democratic Party very soon. Earlier this year, St. Louis County prosecutor Wesley Bell, a Democrat running for Congress, asked to vacate Williams' conviction, citing clear and convincing evidence of his innocence, including evidence contamination and the revelation that at least one potential juror was excluded because he was black. However, the Missouri Supreme Court unanimously ruled against stopping the execution, asserting that Williams' lawyers failed to demonstrate by clear and convincing evidence Williams' actual innocence or constitutional error at the original criminal trial that undermines the confidence in the judgment of the original criminal trial. Following the ruling, Parsons said that Williams has exhausted due process and every judicial avenue, including over 15 hearings attempting to argue his innocence and overturn his conviction. Congresswoman Cori Bush, a death penalty opponent who was recently defeated by Bell in their district's Democratic House primary, joined civil and human rights defenders in appealing to Parson to reconsider. Where was the rest of the squad at? Where's the rest of the Democrats at? Hey, Kamala. Don't worry, folks. I got a video that's specifically calling out Democrats, by the way. It's from RBN. Fantastic. A system that rules that an innocent man can be executed by the hands of the state is anything but just, Bush said on social media. Governor Parson must reverse his disgraceful decision not to stop this inhumane execution and act now to save Marcellus Williams' life. As NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund President and Director Counsel Janny Nelson noted, there's a groundswell of voices calling for either commutation or temporary reprieve. As you know, these voices include the family of Felicia Gale. Gale's family had communicated their desire that the death penalty not be carried out in this case. Mr. Williams has presented compelling evidence that he is innocent of Miss Gale's murder. The perpetrator of this horrific crime left behind significant forensic evidence, including fingerprints, footprints, hair, and trace DNA on the murder weapon. None of this evidence matches Mr. Williams. Again, Mr. Williams has passed away. passed away by lethal injection that could have stopped. Could have been stopped. Maybe if there were certain people, I don't know, voices within the Democratic Party, maybe if they had a backbone, but maybe that's a bridge too far. Maybe that truly is a bridge too far. The St. Louis County prosecuting attorney has recognized that Mr. Williams' capital trial was marred by constitutional errors and the prosecution's presentation of unreliable evidence, which undermined confidence in the judgment against him. I implore you to use your gubernatorial authority to grant Mr. Williams clemency or, at a minimum, grant a reprieve until the underlying conviction can be investigated further and applicable law can be determined, Nelson said. You know, the fact that the evidence is showing that Mr. Williams had nothing to do with it and it doesn't even connect to him and that he is now gone from this world, it says a lot about the powers that be and other outlying factors that will enrage you very soon. He lost his life. He is gone. And this all could have been avoided. I want to share this video here from one of the many contributors to Revolutionary Blackout Network. I will not interrupt and I will mute my mic. But I think this is a clear message to the Democrats because black voters see this. Kamala Harris, AOC, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. Everyone's seeing this. Everyone's talking about it.
5 fucking minutes. That's all we asked for was for 5 fucking minutes. We didn't ask you to hold any bills. We didn't ask you to send in the troops. We didn't ask you for any of that. We just asked you for 5 minutes from our sitting president and our VP who's running to be president, running on black issues. But when another innocent black man is getting killed by the state, you are nowhere to be found. And actually, I found out that we can't even type his name out on your HQ without it being taken down. This shit is disgusting. It's funny how she's black and collard greens, but here we are. Here's your time to shine, Camilla. And I know you bitch ass niggas. The government don't work like that. It don't work like that. No. They have power to do something about this. Even if it isn't ink to paper, they have voices to put not only the millions that's watching this around the globe, but billions of people eyes on this. And they can sit here and watch the state make excuses for lynching another innocent black man. And this is not the only innocent black man that has been killed by the police or the state this month. We couldn't even get 5 minutes from you, and you think I'm going to spend 5 minutes in the line voting for you? Fuck out of here. I am so sick and tired of watching my brothers bleed for nothing. While you guys just sit by, we didn't get not one progressive in office speaking about this. Not Bernie Sanders, AOC, Rashida Tlaib. None of them that's holding power is speaking about this because they don't give a fuck. And when you don't use your voice for the better, it just makes you complicit in this man's death. We couldn't get 5 fucking minutes. This is how I'm feeling, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone on this. If that man don't get to go home, I don't believe the governor should be able to go home either. I don't think the cops should be able to go home either. Yes, I mean scorched earth, because they are not going to take us serious until we start to take ourselves serious. They are not going to stop taking our lives until we show them their life is just as disposable. And just because you hold some type of power don't mean that you can't be touched. We need to really let these motherfuckers know. Because the people in power don't care.
That's the truth of it. I also want to pull up this comment too. This is from Butch Ware. He is Jill Stein's running mate.
I want to know, where are all these black abolitionists that swore they were about resisting the carceral state? Where are you now, Brittany Packnett Cunningham? Where are you now, Angela Davis? Where are you now, Olayemi Olorin? Where are any of y'all now? Y'all still caping up for your murderous presidential candidate just because she happens to have brown skin? You call yourself an abolitionist? Harriet Tubman is rolling over in her grave. She disavows you. She disowns you. Bell Hooks disavows and disowns you. Phyllis Wheatley disavows and disowns you. Sojourner Truth disavows and disowns you. You are fraudulent. You are weaponizing black womanhood, the most sacred thing, the foundation of humanity itself, mitochondrial Eve. You have betrayed her.
And in all of this, the Democrats do have time, folks. They sent me a message, particular. And I think it should enrage a lot of people because, first of all, this kind of happened at the last minute, at the last hour, even though it was already too little too late. But she seems to have a knack for it. AOC, we must abolish the death penalty. Well, here's the thing, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Of all the times to tweet this out, I have no idea what you were thinking. Professor Zanka says his name is Marcellus Williams, and you waited till they murdered him to tweet this. Shame. Again, Lincoln Riley received the death penalty. You choose illegal aliens over American daughters. Your party took it off the effing platform. And again, this is from RBN. Gaslighting sellout. The end of the abolition era. Democrats quietly drop their opposition to the death penalty. GAOC, you picked a hell of a time. You picked a hell of a time to tweet that out. But it's all right, folks. You want to know what AOC is doing? She's going to bat for Kamala. Brace yourself, folks. This is what's going to change today. By the way, this is the same Kamala Harris who withheld evidence of an innocent man on death row. Tulsi Gabbard called her out. Here, AOC, let's first of all, she's saying we will not have to hear the name of Donald Trump ever again because, yes, everything is all about Trump. It's all about Trump.
We will not have to hear the name Donald Trump ever again.
I got a text from my friend that said that AOC was going to be at Carnegie Mellon.
If it was not for young people in the state of Pennsylvania, Joe Biden would not be president right now. And now it will be young people in the state of Pennsylvania who will make Kamala Harris president of the United States.
I think it's really important for students to get involved with politics and what's going on in our country right now.
A lot of decisions are being made without us there.
And that's the message that we have to send. That young people delivering this, we're going to have some expectations on our policy, aren't we? We're going to want to see an end to endless war. We're going to want to see expanding healthcare and action on climate change, aren't we? And we're going to want to see the Supreme Court and Republicans keep their hands off our bodies and out of our business, aren't we?
We're here to support reproductive freedom. I feel like Harrison Walls know that it's a top priority for Americans. She's everything that we need in this country right now.
This is truly, truly about the fight over who we are and who we want to be making over our future. And I know that we are going to work to elect Kamala Harris as our next president of the United States.
Gee, how incredible, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But I do want to throw this out here to everyone. Just so y'all don't forget, all right? Because, again, Kamala's record as a prosecutor, what happened to Marcellus Williams is a tragedy because again, there's a lot of evidence that needs to be addressed, to which all of it was ignored. And if the Democrats actually really gave a damn, they look into it. Now, I don't see the Democrats actually reversing any of their policies. But before people, especially the Vote Blue Matter Who people, start saying, oh, yes, we care about social rights. We care about social issues. We care about this and we care about that. Just remember that when we look into the background of many of these politicians, they're the biggest frauds ever. Now, I've played this video before in the past, but I think it's important for us to remember Kamala Harris's record. You know, you have people asking Kamala or AOC to really go to bat and help people out. Because again, our court system is not perfect. I think we've seen how our political system works. But the very fact that at the last minute, nothing was taken into consideration. Remember, Kamala Harris at one point withheld evidence.
With Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate, you called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response?
The debate that destroyed Kamala, which, by the way, hey, Trump, the next time you debate somebody, maybe you should have taken some coaching. Just throwing it out there. Of course, again, that whole entire ABC News debate was something else altogether, but we'll focus on that on a different day. But again, corporate media being biased, is that a shocker? But Democrats like this, like Kamala, like AOC, like Bernie, like to pump up the idea that, oh, they care about the social issues or they care about justice. I think it's very, very clear that this trial, or at least a retrial, should have taken place, especially dealing with the fact that there was a lot of true errors going on during the first trial.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Repeat that again. Repeat that again.
These people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And
Do you believe Kamala? Let's type one for yes, kid, I do. And the Democrats, they made a mistake, but the next time they'll get it right. The type two, man, no. Why even asking that question? You know, Democrats ain't going to do nothing. They just give out that tasty word salad.
I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular to not seek the death penalty. History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
Really. You know, I actually got an important message from the Democrats right now. This is how special, everyone needs to understand, because what happened to Marcellus Williams, you know what AOC said? She said, now's the time to abolish the death penalty. But everybody else, we need to focus on stopping the evil man Trump. If the Democrats were actually consistent with their policy issues, consistent actually fighting for and again, this is my direct challenge to a lot of these activists and community organizers that associate with the Democratic Party. When are you going to grow up? You do realize that every time a movement starts, be it Black Lives Matter, Me Too, Time's Up, anything, DSA, Our Revolution, Brand New Congress, Justice Democrats, it always gets transformed and deformed into something that is, now just Democrat adjacent. You know what that means, right? Anything, because if you put any hope for the Democrats to help you out, it's a fool's dream. But you know what the Democrats do need? Here's what they need. Here's what they need. So anyone that's struggling right now, because I mentioned on the show talking about Kamala Harris's policies, especially her truancy policy in California when she was Attorney General, and how there were families that have wrongly been hit. I mentioned about Miss People's story, a woman taking care of her daughter who has sickle cell anemia, and there's probably more people like her out there that not only suffered from that ridiculous policy that Kamala implemented, but it also explains why people are leaving California en masse, because the whole entire system is so corrupt. But you know what the Democrats do need? They need you to stop asking about exoneration and innocent projects. The Democrats need you to stop asking about social justice issues. The Democrats need you to stop talking about, investing into our infrastructure. The Democrats need you to stop talking about money in politics or the fact that we have money for wars. You know what the Democrats want you to know though? Here's what they sent to me. And you know what? It's a direct message to all of you, too. Kit, if you are anything like us, your inbox is stuffed to the gills with fundraising requests from candidates and organizations asking you to donate before this FEC fundraising deadline. They want the MONEY. We hope you'll give us a moment to explain why a well-timed donation to the Democratic National Committee is the best choice for those looking to make a difference in this election. Here's the truth. The truth. This election is going to be decided by a relatively small number of voters in a relatively small number of states. That is true of the presidential election, and that is true when it comes to control of the House and the Senate. Now, you know what that means? That means going beyond the television ads to find folks, talk to them, and either persuade them to vote Democrats or convince infrequent Democratic voters to make sure that they vote. And when you look at the DNC's top expense in our fundraising reports, it's that work. It is canvassing, because you got to canvass, right? It's conversations with those voters we need to win. That is not the flashy work. It's the hard work. And that is most often the hard work that makes the biggest difference in life. But when we ask these politicians to do anything for us, that's a bridge too far. So stop asking, people. But that work is only possible if we have the resources to get it done. And most of the donations we receive come in response to emails like this one. So with our final end of quarter fundraising deadline before Election Day coming up fast, we're asking if you could just give $5 or $50, and we'll put every dollar we raise to work in reaching voters that Democrats need to win this November. So there you go, folks. Shut up and give money. Stop asking for things. What's wrong with you people? Are you expecting the system to work for you? No. And unfortunately, folks, if you're not paying attention, there's going to be a consequence for this for Kamala. I've mentioned on the show on how black voters are abandoning the Democrats. This is just adding more fuel to the fire, especially what's happened to Marcellus Williams. We will see what happens on election night. But folks, do not be surprised. Do not be shocked if Trump does win. Again, it's 50-50 in the air. Voter enthusiasm is key. And the Democrats, well, they're enthusiastic to ask you for money. Are they enthusiastic? Do they have enough enthusiastic people, though, to show up to vote for them? and especially with what happened to Marcellus Williams and so many other incidents in which, again, black voters are given the middle finger by Democrats, but dare I say it, a lot of people are given middle finger by Democrats. I think there's going to be an epic crash and burn. And folks, grab the popcorn. It's only going to get worse.